Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. Kellie-Jay Keen has been threatened with arrest and reported for a hate crime after attending a women's rights rally in Brighton. The founder of Standing for Women spoke at the gender-critical event in Brighton in September. We're going to speak to Kellie-Jay in a moment, but first, let's hear what Sussex Police told her.
So someone has actually made an allegation against you about a hate crime. We need to get you to come down to Brighton, ideally, so we can have this voluntary interview.
And when you say hate crime, specifically what hate crime would it be? Because I think to be a hate crime, there has to actually be a crime. So what is the hate?
Exactly.
What is the hate attached to?
The crime is use of words or behaviour to stir up hatred on the grounds of sexual orientation.
And Kellie-Jay Keen, also founder of the Let Women Speak tour, joins me now. Welcome to the show. Kellie-Jay, can I ask you, I did my due diligence. I watched your speech in Brighton on YouTube. I couldn't see any instances of you inciting hate against people on the grounds of sexual orientation. Am I wrong about that? Have I missed something?
No, you haven't missed anything. It's this is my 5th interaction with the police in the last few years since I started talking about the assault on women's rights. So no, you haven't missed a thing. I frequently champion LGB and talk about the assault that's also upon their rights presented by transgender ideology. So if anything, I'm definitely lots of love towards sexual orientation.
So why is it the case? And do we know who it was that reported you? Is this just one of the activists who was nearby being opportunistic and using these kind of hate speech laws in order to quash their opponents?
I think it is. I think it's very entitled men using the police force as some sort of personal security force in order to shut women up. And it's just not going to work.
Are there any updates on this? Because the police contacted you and said, well, you've got to come for an interview. But they said it was voluntary, didn't they? But then if you didn't, they would arrest you. Am I reading that right? Is that what happened?
No, I mean, this is what they said when 4 years ago when Susie Green reported me to the police. And so they said then, oh, it's voluntary. But by the way, if you don't come in, you'll be put on a wanted list and we'll find an excuse to arrest you. But I'm not going. I'm absolutely 100% not voluntarily going to any police station to be interviewed and try to be entrapped into committing some sort of spurious hate crime.
It must get very wearing, though, to continually have the police come in and say you're not entitled to your free speech. It feels a little bit like the police don't necessarily know the law themselves.
Well, I agree. I think on the backdrop of the fact that we all know there have been women that have been stalked and they report their stalker repeatedly to the police and the police ignore them and then those women end up dead. I think the fact that as soon as a man who believes he's a woman and gets very cross about women that say they're not, reports women's speech to the police and the police jump, I think I just think it illustrates where the police are in 2022. I think it's disgusting.
Now, could you talk to us a little bit about your Let Women Speak tour? Because I understand that you went to America as well, which some people would say it could be quite dangerous because some of the activists out there can be very extreme. But what is it that you're trying to achieve with the tour? What's the purpose behind it?
It really is to create a space in which women can speak. Women often feel completely stifled and intimidated into silence. Right across America, you can lose your job. We had women speaking who'd been working somewhere for 17 years, spoke up against the transition of children and lose their jobs. We've got parents of children who have been convinced by schools or online communities that they're trans, who are having their breasts removed at sort of 13, 14 years old, these girls, boys being castrated before they're even 21. It's absolutely terrifying and quite preposterous what's happening. So we just wanted to open an accessible space for women to come and speak. And what we did is I made a documentary while I was out there. That should be out before Christmas. And what it did is it really revealed the violence and misogyny that the trans activists are absolutely drowning in. But, you know, women are a constituency of our own. We are a worldwide global community with unique needs, and we will speak about our rights.
Why is it that so much, when it comes to this debate, and when you hear these activists sort of gathering around feminist speakers, why does so much of the language, the rhetoric, why do they resort to violent imagery, death threats, rape threats? Why is that so prevalent?
I think it's because they're violent men who hate women. I don't, you know, it's not a difficult calculation, really. Men have done this for time. And I'm a big fan of men. I'm a heterosexual woman. I've got 3 sons. I've got a lovely husband. I'm a big fan of men. And I had no idea that the world was quite so misogynist. But as soon as women start saying no, there's some men that get very, very cross about it and will use any means necessary to shut us up.
Are you ever afraid to put yourself in this position? Because you're always speaking in public, surrounded by these people in black masks. You know, they look intimidating from my perspective, and I'm just watching it on a screen.
I was very frightened in New York. I had credible death threats in Portland, so we didn't do the tour in Portland. We had to cancel that date. In New York, where there was 60 New York police officers, they said they wouldn't at all protect me to go into the rally that I'd organised to speak. Today at Hyde Park, I was assaulted by somebody who decided just to fill my face full of water. It could have been anything in that bottle. So am I afraid? I'm still more afraid to keep quiet. I'm still more afraid about the societal harm and the harm to individual women to shut up rather than speak up. So, you know, until there are no more children being transitioned, until no more language of women is being erased or no more rights, then I continue to be more fearful of being silent.
Kellie-Jay Keen, thank you very much for joining me today.